Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the month of February, and I am really looking forward to this month. We have some amazing things that are about to go on. So before I proceed, I always want to remind everyone to sign up for my free newsletter where you can get all of these predictions delivered free to your email address. So go to galacticcenter.org, sign up for my free newsletter, as well as while you're there, check out my Patreon page. Become part of our spiritual community. Start the new year out on a positive light, because this is where you're going to connect to others. And not only that, I will be talking to you weekly live. And there's so many advantages to being part of this group. So check that out, as well as don't forget the Galactic Planner. My Galactic Planner takes your personal chart, calculates it, gives you all of the transits, aspects that are happening to you daily, and all this information is delivered into your calendar on your phone or your computer, so you are prepared every day through the stars. And last but not least, this is the month I'm beginning semester 1 with the University of Vedic Astrology. If you've always wanted to learn astrology, Vedic astrology, this is the answer. All online, self-paced, but I have live classes every week you can be part of. Ask me questions, learn from me. And not only that, there's 40 videos that you listen on your own, take tests. You have a live tutor that will answer questions and grade your test. There is no more personal or better way to learn astrology. So go to universityofvedicastrology.com. Now with that, we are going to get going, and we are going to look at this amazing month, because this month is going to start out with a beautiful conjunction that is going to illuminate the night sky. What we're going to be talking about this month over and over again is Venus. Venus will take center stage now for the next, I want to say 3 months at least. It is so powerful, because what's happening is on February 1st, and I've talked about this, did a whole video on this, it will align exactly with the moon, which you're going to be able to see that incredible conjunction in the night sky. It will be magnificent. But what you can't see, because it's invisible to the naked eye, is that it's exactly conjunct Neptune. Venus and Neptune have been said to be connected. It has been said that Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, because Neptune is ethereal. It is beauty, just like Venus. But all at the same time, it does have a dark side to it, which we're going to discuss. So you can be better prepared and not fall into the trap that Neptune has for us. But all with that, we have Venus, Moon, Neptune, and on top of that, Rahu, the north node of the moon, is exactly conjunct all together at 3 degrees of Pisces. So I did a whole video about that. If you're interested, you're going to want to know where this is happening in your chart. But aside from that, Rahu always magnifies things that it's next to. So we've got this Venus, Neptune, Moon, Rahu, incredibly magnified. So let's talk a little bit about what Venus means for us all. Venus is the planet of love. It's the planet of relationships. It's actually the planet of peace too. So that's something that we need to take into account. But it is also beauty. It deals with all forms of the arts. So there's going to be some magnificent things coming out and being creative during this time. Things of beauty. And most of all, Neptune also rules photography and films and movies. So this can be a time of heartwarming, transformational movies that come out that can truly have an effect on people's level of consciousness during this time. This is truly an amazing time. So things will be created and things will come out that will pertain to love, beauty, and peace. But here's another aspect of Venus that you're going to love. Venus rules money. And I often say where Jupiter rules millionaires, Venus rules billionaires, because Venus is said to rule opulent wealth. So the fact that Venus is not only with Neptune and Rahu, it's in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is its exaltation sign, and this actually means that Venus becomes stronger. So when a planet is in their exaltation sign, everything that it's about will manifest easier. It's brighter. It brings out the good of that planet. So Venus is actually going to be in Pisces for a long time because it's going to go retrograde. Venus is going to go retrograde on March 1st. So Venus normally stays in a sign for 1 month, travels along with the sun from our vantage point. But when it goes retrograde, it stays in a sign for a longer duration, for around 4 months. So Venus will enter into Pisces March 1st. It'll enter into Pisces January 28th, and it will remain in this sign till March 31st. So that is a long time that Venus will extend its stay in Pisces, its most beautiful, enhancing sign of all. Now, getting back to that March 1st date that I jumped right onto, it will be retrograde from March 1st till April 12th. But it stays in Pisces because of its back and forth. It's staying in the sign. So this is actually advantageous to Venus. And Venus, let me just say this too, because you're able to see it, it is an evening star. Venus has this ability to become, when it goes from before or behind the sun, it becomes a morning star or an evening star. And according to the ancients, especially the Mayans, they made great reference to Venus, probably because it was the brightest star or planet in the sky. They call it a star. But when it's an evening star, it's more auspicious. They say when it's a morning star, it's more malefic, probably because they can't see it. They don't know where it is. It disappeared. And that could mean that things could come out of nowhere that we can't see. So the fact that it is an evening star for quite some time is a huge advantage. And it's beautiful, it's bright, it's going to illuminate the sky. You're going to look up and you're going to see this huge object in the sky. You're going to go, what is that? Is it an airplane? And then you'll think, it's going to be huge. But then you'll realize it's Venus. You'll remember I said that. Because when a planet goes retrograde, actually that planet becomes closer to the Earth. Therefore, it's brighter. You can see it better. And it's going to illuminate the sky throughout the month of February. Let me give you some more astronomical details here. Because Venus will be furthest from the sun January 10th when it reaches its greatest elongation east, meaning it will be furthest from the sun in the evening sky. So this makes it even brighter. But on February 14th, this is very interesting because it is Valentine's Day, but on February 14th, it will be at its brightest point in the evening sky. So Venus makes its presence on Valentine's Day the brightest. So, as I said, Venus rules love and relationships. This is a magnificent time to fall in love. Just be careful and make sure that you're being realistic, because I gotta say, Venus with Neptune can make us a little bit think of things being like, are we being real? We have to remember to be real, because this can make us kind of delusional. And, you know, Neptune has that quality of blinding us where we can't see things clearly. And it can, in a relationship, make us unrealistic. And we've got to really think, am I being realistic about this relationship, or am I being out there with delusions and illusions? But overall, since Neptune is this planet that can represent spirituality, it can have a beautiful effect on relationships, and it can even be a healing of relationships. So this is the time to fall in love, to better our relationships that we're in. Enjoy this time, because it is a time to express your deep heart feelings, your soul feelings of love. That's what Venus does for us. It is beautiful. So the whole month of February, I'm counting on Venus to bring a lot of great things into our life. And, you know, I'm going to be talking a lot about the Venus going retrograde when it does, which isn't till March 1st. But when it does, Venus has this incredible cycle where every time it goes retrograde, it will, over a period of time where it returns back to its starting position, it actually forms a pentagram, a 5-pointed star. And this is very symbolic of Venus. It represents its power and essence of what it's here to do. Because really, let's face it, the only thing that truly heals our lives is love. And that's what Venus is about. So take advantage of this time. But also, when Venus forms this pentagram, after about 8 years, 7 to 8 years, it will return back to where it was. And if you'll go back to 2017, you'll find that Venus was retrograde in Pisces again. And that is significant. So go back to 2017. Some of the things that occurred then will reoccur. Not everything, because let me say this Venus has some advantages that Venus didn't have. And that is that this time, the whole time that Venus is in Pisces, well, not the whole time, all the way between now through about May 14th, Venus and Jupiter will be in an exchange of signs. What does that mean? That means that Venus, while it's in Pisces, it's in the sign. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. We use the old rulerships. Remember, I do Vedic astrology for those of you that are Western astrology people. Remember, this is different. Please pay attention. So don't come off with, she's got her signs wrong. No, this is Vedic astrology. Although I will say, on January 1st, when we have that conjunction in Pisces with the moon, that will still be in Pisces in the tropical Western chart, because it will be in late Pisces where it's in early Pisces here. But throughout this time, I'm talking about sidereal placements. And getting to this, Venus being in Pisces, Pisces is ruled by Jupiter in Vedic astrology. And when you go to Jupiter, Jupiter is in Taurus right now all the way till May 14th. Therefore, during this time till May 14th, we're going to have what's called Parivartana Yoga. And that means that Jupiter is in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, and Jupiter and Venus is in Pisces, which is ruled by Jupiter. So they exchange signs of rulership. What does that mean for us all? This is spectacular. This connects these planets intrinsically. And what this means is Venus, remember I said, rules opulent wealth. And I always say Venus rules billionaires, Jupiter rules millionaires. These are the planets that deal with money. And when you deal with this Parivartana, where these planets are incredibly jacked up, powerful, you're going to find great wealth is coming about in the economy. This month of February, you're going to see things soar. Things are going to be incredible financially. Probably the stock market's going wild. People are making money in all sorts of different ways. Banking and prosperity is the name of the game. This is going to go on really till May. I do see a change though, the very end of March, when Saturn goes into Pisces. That'll be March 29th. But regardless, take advantage of this time. It is a time to invest. It's a time to make money. And here's another thing. Venus being in Pisces is highly creative and visionary. This is a time that you can come up with visions. Entrepreneurs, look out. You can come up with things that are necessary and needed and make money. Money will be flowing. This is a great time. I'm excited about what I'm seeing here. And it's a time of beautiful music, art, film, cameras. All these things are coming out. And most of all, there'll be a healing around love and affection in all of our relationships. And this will bring some peace to the world. Now, another thing during this month that's pretty amazing is that Jupiter and Mars will both turn direct. So they've been retrograde for a while, and retrograde planets pull things back, delay things, and most of all, they really focus energy through the sign and where they are. But moving direct and stationing is all powerful, so there's going to be this surge of energy this month. That's spectacular, totally spectacular. So Mars will turn direct February 23rd. Now, I have given great caution for this day because it's going to be 22 degrees of Gemini, which is the United States sun. In mundane astrology, when you look at a country's chart, the sun always represents the president at that time, the leader. And I have been saying that President Trump needs to be very cautious, starting at this time and all the way through May. But this time, he needs to watch his back. Why? Because Mars is anger and it can be attacks. Now, this might be figuratively or literally. So regardless, he must be very cautious. And yes, things are going to come up and hit him, whether it's verbal or some type of attacks around this time when Mars is stationing February 23rd, and it's at 22 degrees of Gemini. Now, another thing is that Mars will go back to the sign of Gemini. It's been retrograde, but it's been in the sign of Cancer, which is the sign of protection and family, and it's debilitated there. So it's been rough in that sign. But it's retrograded back into Gemini, and it stays in Gemini from January 20th through April 2nd. And then April 2nd, it's going to go back into Cancer. I'm going to be talking about that a lot. But during the time it's in Gemini, during this month of February, this deals with communications all the way. Everything to do with communications is coming up, such as all the past history of what's been going on in the media, what's been going on in all of the different social media platforms. And I also think during this time, we might have like a buyout or of media platforms, maybe even TikTok. We'll see what happens. Things are changing in the area of social media and communications, computers, lineups. And don't forget, Gemini also rules travel. So there's going to be a lot of hiccups in travel. Watch computer downs and things like that deal with travel, airlines, things like that when Mars stations to go direct. Even though it's turning direct, a stationing planet is totally intense because that planet is changing directions. It changes course, and things about what it rules will change course and be many changes that come about. So this is something to look at, and we'll probably be made aware of a lot of the underhanded work that's been going on with media, because media controls the world. It truly does. As much as we hate to admit it, they control our minds, and people are swayed in particular ways. It's crazy, but true. So then let's go back to Jupiter, because Jupiter is going to turn direct, and this is going to be February 4th at 17 degrees, sidereally 17 degrees of Taurus. So Jupiter turning direct can really have some shifts in the economy, positive shifts. And remember, Taurus rules money and banks. So I don't know if this deals with the interest rates or things like that, but things are going to start looking up with the economy with Jupiter turning direct, particularly in the sign of Taurus. Taurus meaning money and wealth. So we've got a lot to look forward to. Another thing that this can mean is that the economy will shift. And yes, it's going up, and that's because of this Venus being in Pisces as well. But going back to Mars being in Gemini during this time, I mentioned that it deals with travel, deals with communications, but it also deals with education. So there's going to be some major shifts and changes in education and schools, maybe the universities, what's been going on there. There's going to be a big change with all of this. Now, by April 2nd, and this will be April 2nd to June 6th, Mars will be back into Cancer. And Cancer does rule, well, let me just say Mars actually in Vedic astrology rules real estate. Being in Cancer has caused many problems in the economy dealing with real estate. But I believe Mars's last jaunt through this sign is going to clear up and clean up a lot of things that have been going on with real estate. And real estate, so many people have been asking me about the housing markets. It's going to improve. It's going to change. But we have one last jolt to go through. Then I think by September, you're going to find that real estate is on a big, going fast, going forward. People are going to be able to afford housing again. Things are going to change and get better. There's going to be so many corrections. Now, talking about the new moon and the full moon, this is very important because The full moon, which is going to be happening, let's see, the full moon happens right here, February 12th. And what I want you to know about this full moon is it sits at 29 degrees of Cancer. Now, I've been telling everyone, for those of you that know about my world predictions, I did a 6-hour class, and that's still available. I talked about all of these things in much greater detail within the 6 hours of my predictions for 2025. You can go to galacticcenter.org, my website, and purchase that 6-hour class where I show everything in great detail. But my point with this is that I talk about the full moons from November through April. Every single full moon occurs at 29 degrees. Of course, it moves up a sign each month. But this is the last degree of a sign. There's 30 degrees to a sign. And this represents endings of things from the past. And I believe this is all good. This is great. Endings are going to be occurring because this paves the way for a new beginning. And actually this year, if you added up 2025, it equates to a 9. This is a 9 year, because you add 2, 2, and 5, and you come up with 9. But regardless about the year, the fact that this 29-degree moon represents that things are coming to an end and closure, completion. This isn't bad. This is what we need. And I'm looking at so many things that needed to come to an end. It's going to feel really, really good because this is progress. This is where we want to be. And so this full moon, this month at 29 degrees of Cancer, remember, sidereally, this is what we call Gandanta, when planets are in the last degrees of a water sign and or the very first degrees of a fire sign. It's in Vedic astrology, we call it Gandanta. It actually means not, and it's a problem. It means things are out of control, actually. But I have found that Cancer degree, 29 degrees of Cancer, is the most treacherous. You'd think that the Scorpio or the Pisces one would be, but I have found that the Cancer one deals more with floods and storms and has an effect where you feel like you're drowning, losing control. So be aware, there's going to be some severe weather with this degree marking after this point. So it marks the point of this full moon, and it will take it into effect for the following next 2 weeks till there is the new moon, which the new moon happens February 27th. And the new moon, this new moon, after this full moon in Cancer, by the way, Cancer does deal with the need for protection. So people will feel this insecurity and need for protection during the time of the full moon, which is February 12th. But then we have the new moon on February 27th at 15 degrees sidereally, Aquarius. And Aquarius, oh my God, 15 degrees of a fixed sign actually is the deepest, most powerful point of a sign. Did you know that? Yes. And not only that though, I want you to know that 15-degree mark of a fixed sign, for those of you that know Vedic astrology, most of you won't know what I'm talking about, but it means it's Virgotama, because it will be in the same sign in the Navamsha, which aside from that, all it really means is that position is the most powerful. So also this degree marking of 15 degrees Aquarius is also in the nakshatra called Shatabishak. That nakshatra deals with the 100 healers, and it deals with the Sky Watcher. It is such a profound visionary nakshatra. So during this time, I believe there can be some huge inventions coming out, being developed, as well as some new healing modalities around health. This is like the start of something big. So people are more open, they're freer, things are flowing, and you're going to find that healing modalities come about that are magnificent for the planet, and maybe even more connections with extraterrestrials. I know I've been talking about that for a long time, but it is true. There is going to be, they're here, and there's going to be more about them, more and more. So this is an incredible month. Take advantage of this month. It's time to move forward. Invest, find new ways to make money, as well as open your heart to love. Love and creativity. This is a time of new vision. And remember what I said, this is a fact. Love heals all, and this is the time to express our love and our affection and our appreciation and gratitude for those that we love in our life. And if you're looking to find a relationship, this could be the time. The only issue is please try to be realistic, because Neptune sometimes makes us in a fantasy world where we look at things as being a little different than the reality and the truth of the situation. But it's a time to be creative, and it's a time for love. So use this energy for what it is good for. You know, everything's cyclic. We won't always have this great cycle. So I think February is a month of great optimism and healing. So use the energy and go forward. Yeah, there's going to be some obstacles and problems. There always are. It's always a mixed bag. But I want you to really focus in on what it's good for and be honest and truthful with yourself. But most of all, be full of gratitude and love for those around you. What you give and put out will always, always come back to you. So with that, I think I'll close. Remember, if this has inspired you to learn Vedic astrology, go to my university website, which is universityofvedicastrology.com. And if you want to learn more about what I do and who I am, and don't forget, oh my gosh, I forgot to show you all this. I put out a brand new book, and I want to share with you what my book is about. You can find that on my website or Amazon. If you can't see it here, it is World Predictions 2024 to 2042. I use Rahu and Ketu in the outer planets to make predictions all the way to the year of 2042. There are some specific things that I want the world to know about before they happen. And hey, to know astrology is the most powerful tool in the world. There is nothing more powerful than knowing the future. And this can help guide you in so many positive ways, and ways that you can protect and heal. So I think astrology is the divine science. And I think it's time that people wake up and start using it for its greatest advantage that it is. Thank you.